The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Stand up and live your life. Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Hands up high.
Oh, we're on the air. Welcome. You didn't have the screen on. I couldn't see. Welcome to the Rise Above show. I'm Joe Perroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini.
And today, do we have any announcements yet?
We just wanted to thanks to the Athletic Club, Jay Jung, for sponsoring our show Rise Above.
And we have a very special guest. New hairstyle, I see.
Yes.
Who's your hairdresser?
Mom.
Whose idea was it for the color of the hair?
Me.
All right.
I love red, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a little issue though with it teaches me a lesson every time. I've been doing hair like forever, and I ask people in supply houses like, "Yeah, what do you think about this product? What could you recommend?" And of course, every time I listen to them, I get into trouble because I know what I know, but I figure they work in a store, so they know their product better than I do. So, needless to say, we put a decolorizer on the underneath of her hair to remove some of the green, because we had put green underneath the first time. And she said, "Oh, you should decolorize that." And I'm like, "I don't think I need to, because her hair's been washed a few times and the red should take it." But I thought, well, these girls, they're up on what's going on. So needless to say, we put the decolorizer on her hair, and then I put the color over after we wash everything out. Hair's okay. Put the color over top of the already decolorized hair, which ends up breaking off.
Yeah.
So all of her hair underneath,
Is
where the hair was
literally
previously
short.
green, broke off and turned into mush.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
So
the
she
moral
had
of
to
the
cut my
story
hair
is you don't have to use a decolorizer to
Yeah.
remove the color
I'm always the test
pigmentation.
dummy.
If the hair's been washed a million times, you don't need to go through that. So
That's good to know.
and I kind of knew that.
You don't have any hair.
You don't have any hair, John. But I kind of knew that, but I went against what I knew because I thought, well, they're young, they're new, they know their products, they know what they're talking about, and I'm like,
I hear that, and I hear inexperience.
I go, okay, so, but anyway, she got a nice little short haircut out of it.
Yeah.
It looks good. You needed a haircut anyway.
Yeah, I know my ends were bad.
So for today's show, we want to go along with our feminism series, and we wanted to talk about objectification, right? Subject for today. Now, to start off with, I don't really get it, right? Like, I'm in the personal training business, so it's all objectification. Let's start with that. Heidi is in, as we have already talked about, the hairdressing business also. That is all about objects, right? Hairstyles, what do you call it? Hair extensions, that they're all objects. And noticing our clothing that we're wearing today, mine's a sporting type thing.
Oh, shit.
It is kind of green. Can you see me? I forgot.
Well, you can take your shirt off.
Well, you can see me on the screen.
Take your shirt off. You can take it off. You've been training.
I could objectify myself.
You can objectify yourself right now, so we could stare at you during the show.
No balls.
And then
Did
we
you see
can
it?
go, "Oh, he's so muscular. I like his muscles."
You didn't see. That's what you
saw
don't
it.
I
do.
just saw
Did
your
you see it?
chest. He did his pecs. I
Now,
can't do
I
that.
would never.
I don't care. You should do it.
Never.
Do it. It'll bring up ratings.
I would never objectify myself like that. Well, hold on a second.
Yes, you would.
Do you see these? No.
Yes, you would. Take your shirt off.
If I would, I'd
So
always be
listen.
skinny.
So there's nothing wrong with objectification, right?
So we may not have a background for this show.
I read, though, objectification is not objectification if both people are consenting.
That's part of it.
And
No, that's true.
If both people
That's
are
true.
consenting to the objectification, then it's okay. It's
True.
not
Same thing as
okay
rape.
when a person's being objectified and they don't know about it, or
Well,
they're not okay with it, then there's a problem. But if both people are consenting, like in a strip club, people, I always bring this up because I guess I'm just weird about it.
You know what you need to do?
But I think but I think in a strip club it's different.
Does this happen all the time?
But I think in a strip club it's different because the women are not being objectified, and I'll tell you why. Because it's consensual. They're saying this is a service that I'm providing, and the men are there to get the benefits of that. So in that situation, I would have to say that would not be objectification. And we've talked about this before, and women saying, well, they're hookers and they're objectified, they're this and that. No, I would have to say in that situation they're not. I would have to say it's a choice profession, it's chosen, and unfortunately you're going to get those guys that are probably going to be inappropriate and rude and whatever. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that that's right because they provide a service, but I also believe from what I just read that they said as long as it's consensual, it's not considered objectification.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I just listened to, another video Ava and I were listening to sitting in the waiting room, and the guy makes a good point. He said, a woman walks in with, her boobs smashed together and they're out in front and she's got the skinny skirt on, her butt sticking out, and as men you kind of go, oh, what did he say, she looks pretty good, and
She looks good, but not the classical way.
And he said, ladies, if I put you kind of dress like a slut, we're going to kind of think that way. He goes, it's like if I put an officer's uniform on and I'm walking down the street and I'm not really a cop, and you run up to me and say, can you help me, I'm in trouble, and I go, sorry, but I'm not really a cop. He said, you can't, it was kind of funny the way he used that analogy that, you're dressing a certain way, the perception's going to be there, that you might be, although again, there's that middle line that because I wear a short skirt doesn't make me a slut, because my boobs hanging out of my top doesn't make me a slut. But I think where the difference is I think if it's consensual, it's okay. If
Right,
both
no, I
sexes
agree.
are okay with it.
But let me go back to the shirts for a second. So your shirt is kind of like an athletic wear, right?
Okay, but I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take my shirt off. I'm going to objectify myself
Can
right
I,
now.
like, finish?
Ready? Okay.
This happens all the time. Even
So I
at
just took my shirt off.
home. Right, and that's
So-
even, yeah.
So if a guy stares at me, what's going to happen? Now I'm going to take this shirt off
Oh god.
because I have my sports bra on.
Oh my
okay?
gosh.
So, what do you think would happen if I walked down the street like this right now?
It'd be different than if you had the shirt.
Okay. So my point would be the attention that I'm seeking right now, and I'm doing it purposely, would be to say, look at my toned athletic body. So if a guy comes by and says, oh, you look amazing, I shouldn't get offended. If a guy walks by and says, ooh, you're a little bit too muscular for me, you kind of look like a man, right? I shouldn't get offended by that. I am objectifying myself slightly and on purpose. When I put all this on top of all this, I am trying to cover it up
Right.
because I don't want to be stared at. This is my
Right.
point.
But let's broaden the subject, though, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter what shirt you have on. You're always an object. It just depends on how you want to be seen. Maybe you're not wearing that because you want somebody to see your body. Maybe it's warm. You're always going to show something. So that's like an athletic shirt, right? It's got the thing. I got the stripes on here. That's kind of athletic. Everybody in sports is objectified too. That's the nature of it. You are an object. And the shirt that you're wearing is interesting too, because it's got a girl with her,
half naked girl on there with a pill.
So I mean, it's
you go.
all objectification. Now, I've got the feminist definition here. It says one treating a woman as an object. Okay, fair enough. Let's just say that, like that's somebody's opinion. But why they wouldn't say a man can be objectified too? Because so right away there's a problem. So whenever you're like only going one way and disallowing the thought, I mean, if you really feel this way, you should feel that way about all people, not just a female. The next one is seen as a tool for the objectifier's purpose. Well, okay, so let's get to that. That's the definition of a model. Right there. That is the definition of a model. So if you see somebody on TV, you see somebody in a print ad, Cosmopolitan magazine, these people are getting paid. They are there to be a model so you to see them and go, well, that's a nice looking shirt. Or maybe I would like to go to the gym now. Or nice hair. Maybe I'll go to my hairdresser. It's all that way. So where's the complaint?
I'm not sure where the complaint is. I know there's a difference between how men and women think about objectification, because women naturally want to be desirable. That's their way their brains work. Men want to be respected. So I think when you think about it, objectifications in terms of that, because women want to be desired by men, and they want to be admired by other women also, because the biggest compliment is always going to come from another female rather than a male. So I'm thinking that just because there's a difference in how the brains work, and then again how John's going to say something.
No, go ahead.
How society, we always blame everything on society, and I think that, if we can ever come to a point where we evolve to the point where we cannot use that as a scapegoat for everything in life, that we do it because of a cultural thing. But from the time I was, younger, when I used to look at models in a magazine, whether they be, Cheryl Teagues, who was a very classy, beautiful model that I grew up with. She dressed very beautifully. I mean, I don't remember ever seeing her, even in a bathing suit, look very inappropriate. Like, you'd see her in a bathing suit and you'd say, she has a really pretty body. I never looked at her and said, she looks slutty. I'm thinking that over the years there's been a change in how we look at what's beautiful and what's sexual, or what a woman is supposed to look like. And I'm not sure, why. Because you look at the models now, and most of the professional models are very skinny and anorexic. That's a totally different mindset over there. But then you got the models. You go into Cosmopolitan magazine. You go into, any of the trendy magazines, and the girls have fake butts, fake boobs, blown up lips. It's like fakeness that you see, and that's objectification in a way too. But it's like, who's perpetuating that objectification? Is it women that are saying they really don't like themselves and they want their lips blown up, their faces pulled back, their boobs out to here? They blame men. They say that, men like that. But then men would say, no, I want a woman of substance. I want a woman that's morally virtuous, that type of thing. I want a virtuous woman. And yet there's strip clubs and there's adult clubs.
There's something for everybody. Ava, take a shot at it.
I think John wants to go.
You go ahead.
I'd like you to read that statement again.
Let's see. Seen as a tool for the objectifier's purpose.
Okay, and what was the one before that?
Treating a woman as an object.
Okay, and what was your question? What did you say after that? You said, where's the problem? What is the problem? Why?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is from my observations.
Right.
The complaint comes from only seeing that person or thing, man or woman, as an object and not as a person. And I think that what you're saying, Heidi, is that you can do both.
Oh, okay?
Yeah. And still respect, wow, you look hot, but still respect that woman as a human being, and you're smart, and you've got a great job, and this, and not just, whoa, you're hot, and that's it, and cut the line there. And I think that that's where we've missed a lot.
Right.
I keep going back to this example of me objectifying you when I first met you.
I remember that, yeah.
And okay, dude, this guy's buff, gotta be stupid.
Well, and I think that's the assumption.
And that was a perfect example of how you would objectify people.
Yeah.
And then once I got to know you and heard you speak and heard you talk, and I thought, oh man, I was completely wrong about that.
There's a couple of things that I like that you're saying about that, because the one part is treating a woman as an object. All right, the other half of that is treating people as an object. So you're right, like men can be objectified also. And then I
get it all the time.
Do you? But But here's the other thing, right? Like, I tend to think of myself as, I'm a confident guy. I have self-esteem. So let's say you look at me for that first time, and it was live on the air, by the way, and you started with me. I look at it and I say, you know what? Percentages, maybe in your life, that's what you've run into. So I don't hold it against you. I put the burden on me to show who I am. And so we did the show. Now, from seeing that and hearing that, and then you have a different opinion, you're entitled to your opinion. I can't change it if you didn't want to. But I also feel like it's my responsibility to not just be an object if I don't want to be.
And so, there you go.
Right. So
that's it.
Yeah. Now, what if you're a model?
That goes back to what Heidi was saying.
Right.
Is that, if you're going to walk down the street in a string bikini, that's what people are going to see.
That's the first impression.
And that's the impression that you're putting out there.
Right.
Now, if you're doing that while you're reading a book, that might be...
if you see them in a library, that might be a little
But it's like first impressions. When we're raised, we're told that, your first impression is what people will think, and I've gone through this with my daughter, with certain things growing up, and I said, listen, I know what an amazing human being you are. I know what the heart that you have. I know that you're a good person. The bad part is that when you put certain things out in social media, you say certain things, people judge you. They go, "Oh my goodness," and those
never get past that.
And those are people's perceptions. They don't, so they're already judging you just by what they see. And unfortunately, we do live in that kind of society. So it's exactly what you said before. If you walk around clantily scad, and then some guy says something, or even a girl. I mean, I've had girls say stuff to me at times. You kind of go, well. When I'm in the salon and I'm in my professional attire, I don't get that kind of treatment. But when I'm in the gym or I'm in a certain thing and I'm in a different environment, you kind of get treated differently. When I'm in the gym atmosphere and I'm at a show and I might be in a tight-fitting outfit, I get commented at. When I'm in my salon attire, which could be my more professional stuff, my dresses, my dressy clothes, I don't get treated the same. I get treated more respectfully because I'm dressed as a professional than if I was dressed and I was in a club. I'm going to get treated differently. And when I'm in gym attire and I look muscular and I look a certain way, I get another type of kind of commentary. And sometimes it's not all good. It's not always, oh, I like your toned body. I've had guys walk by and go, ooh, she's too muscular. Or I've had women say, you're too muscular. I don't want to be muscular like you.
And looking at the pictures that you posted after your event, and it's to me, that's art, and I understand what's going on up at the stage, and that's a problem that I've always had as a photographer, is that I'm always looking at, and not just looking, but I'm looking at the shape of your eyes and your nose and your lips and your forehead and your hair and how it sets and all that stuff. And sometimes that creeps people out.
I know,
but I'm saying I really have to be careful, because it's like I find myself, oh yeah, okay, and I can see how the eyebrows and how all the whole shape of the face and how all that fits together, and if you're not aware that you're doing it, sometimes that can be a problem. So that and
Right.
I think that goes back to what you were saying about our upbringing.
Right, true.
That's how we were conditioned, and sometimes we do these things without realizing it. So,
Yeah, I think it's just nature. It's biology, right? Like, you see something that's different, and your eye will track that. It could be dangerous. It could be any. I mean, that's just the way that the unconscious works. But one of the interesting things I find about objectification, right? Let's say somebody's paying you to wear a bathing suit. Now, if you're a feminist and you just get angry at good-looking women, you might call that objectification. But it's really somebody wanting to be a model, somebody working out really hard, dieting, looking good, wearing a bathing suit, and somebody else paying. That's a mutual relationship. There's no hierarchy
But I think that's where it comes into the consensual part of, they're a model, they're being paid, they're consenting to have their picture taken, they are also consenting to the fact that not everybody's going to like what they see, or they might love what they see. It's the same thing in bodybuilding. Somebody might look at your body and say, you look really good, and somebody else might look at your body and say they don't like it, it's offensive. They form their opinions, about whatever they think you're doing to get that look. And I think in modeling, it is consensual. You have to know. It's like when we do bodybuilding shows and I compete and they go, you're going to wear this. This is part of your competition suit. I can't go. I'm going up there and, and showing I have to some degree of I have to consent to that. I have to say, I'm okay going up on stage almost naked to show my muscle.
Yeah.
I can't complain that guys are in the audience going woo hoo hoo and there's a women lesbian, whatever's out there. I can't, or
A lot of those.
or I might
Wait, are
offend
there
my
men
daughter.
lesbians?
My mother, yes,
Men lesbians.
my mother drives her crazy. My mother's old school, drives her crazy. She said, I totally get the fact that this is what you like and you like the goal, and I get it. She goes, I'm not comfortable with you up there in that bathing suit. She goes, you're sending a message. And I go, what's the message, Mom? But she's old school. Just because I'm in a two-piece bathing suit and my butt cheeks are out, I'm not.
But that's all she's seeing.
Right. She's not
That's
seeing
all
that.
she's seeing is that two-piece bathing suit.
Right.
And I, I looked at the pictures and I saw the definition in the muscles and how the whole body fits together, and I thought it was amazing. And then I realized, oh, holy crap, she's almost naked. That's cool. You know what I mean?
But okay, so you have an artist's eye,
Right.
right? We can say that. So when you see anything, whether it's a living being or say a picture on a wall
Or a rock.
or a rock,
Or
no,
rock.
that's
Ava
true
likes her
too.
rocks.
But
I do.
you can see what it
Seashells.
takes to get there.
Right.
So it takes a higher level of enlightenment on one person to be able to see that. Like I kid around about this all the time. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like I got these real, their veins. They pop out a lot.
Yeah, it looks like rivers and tributaries.
Right. Now some people go, ew, that's gross. All right, but there's a lot of people that understand that means that there's probably a lot of blood flow. It probably means that I'm somewhat healthy. It means that I don't have any real fat to speak
good.
of. So that's why you can see it. And so it leads to other things. That's why there's a lot of women who are vain fetishists because of that. It's like a thing in the bodybuilding world. But the other part is, if somebody has something negative to say, why does it all of a sudden then somebody thinks they have the right to say you're objectifying me? It's like it's okay when they like you or they pay you, but as soon as they say something negative, it's like, well, don't objectify me now. It's like no. If you put yourself out there, it's like if somebody says, okay, like you could say this, right? You walk down the street and some guy says, hey baby, blah blah blah. I don't know if that's objectifying. I think that's just rude. Can we just call it that?
That's disrespectful.
It's rude because it is objectifying. They do not see a human being.
Not yet.
Right, but
Not
that's what I'm
yet.
saying. In that situation that you just described, they don't see another human being.
Right. But let's say you see a picture on the wall real quick and you go, oh my God, how beautiful. But you didn't take the time yet to say, I wonder what the artist was thinking. Like, it does take time also. I'm not saying every idiot who does a catcall, underneath it, they're good people. They're rude idiots. I would never do that. But I think we do react emotionally real quick to the visual. And then after that, then we can look a little deeper. So I think maybe we always objectify first.
But there is a difference between a rock, a painting, a drawing, and a human being.
True.
So you can't really say that initially you objectify a piece of art because that's what it is. It's
Right.
an art object,
Right.
and that's its purpose is
Right.
to make you objectify it. And I think that's where people get pissed off sometimes.
Yeah.
Is because you are taking the human being out of whatever it is that you're objectifying.
Yeah, it's...
Or like sweetheart, like I'll have guys say, hi sweetheart, excuse me, but he doesn't call me sweetheart or anything. And to me, especially when it's coming from a younger man, I don't find that complimentary. I get pissed off.
Yeah, and see,
And I'm like, I'm not your sweetheart. Why
I do that
that's
myself
degrading.
sometimes, but it's somebody that I'm very familiar with, and I'll say, thanks, sweetie.
If you said it to me, it wouldn't be offensive. But so that's where do you find the and I hear what Joe's saying too. Like if you said it to me, I wouldn't get offended by it.
Because we know each other.
But I get offended if I walk into a place of business and a kid says to me that's my daughter's age, "Oh, hi, sweetheart, what can we do for you?" That to me is degrading and disrespectful. And even if it came from a man that was, it was somebody else that was your age or Joe's, and they said it to me, I find it offensive. I find it that they're objectifying me. I'm not your sweetie. I'm a paying client that has money, and I need my car fixed. You wouldn't say that to a man. They wouldn't, if the man walked in, they wouldn't go, "Hi, sweetheart," or they wouldn't go, "Hey, man with the muscles." I mean,
you know what though?
I mean, they might. I don't know.
Until you're a man with muscles, you wouldn't know the answer to that.
I don't, but I'm just saying.
Because I can tell you. What was it just the other day? One of the service guys came in. I forget to fix the dryer. Both guys came in.
I remember that.
Both guys came in. Listen, it was great. I don't feel bad. Right? They both came in and they go, "Hold it. Why are we lifting this, man? You should be lifting this." And I said, "Well, because I'm doing some work and I'm paying you. That's why." So they're doing the thing. They're doing their job. Great job, by the way. But of course, it's really cool. Like, I've always been a painfully shy individual. So working out to me and starting to get a build was really good because I had something that somebody would objectify me for, and then they would start to talk to me. So it was like, it was great. So it was in this way too. They started saying, they're doing the dryer, and they go, "So, how many days a week do you work out? What type of program are you on? High protein, low?" And it created a conversation.
That's when you tell them you only work out once a month.
I told them I didn't work out at all. No. But yeah, I think in one of the things in psychology we talk about is, number one, if you want to be a very unhappy human being, always compare yourself to other people, right? Because there's always somebody bigger, better, smarter, faster, more money, younger, because you're getting older every day. I'm getting older every day. So if you want to just be a sad human being, just look around and see all the things that you're not or you don't have and compare yourself to everybody. That's a good plan, right?
I used to do that.
Yeah, until
I didn't give a shit anymore, and I was like, I'm just gonna try to be the better me that I can be. I don't care. I don't want to be anybody else. I just want to be a better who I am.
So your happiness is internal.
Yeah, that's why I'm happy. I don't care what people think, honestly.
There you go. Now, if we're so concerned about what the world thinks, we try to put down the world and go, "Oh my God, stop objectifying me. Don't do that. Don't treat me like that. Don't have an opinion. Don't have a thought. Don't have a preference." No, people are entitled to their thoughts, feelings, preferences. They're entitled to all that. But if you're an individual and you're trying to change the world, you are never going to have a good life. It cannot happen. So then you get together with some of your other friends who have no confidence, no self-esteem, no thought about improving yourself from the inside out. You start calling men bad names, male chauvinist pigs. Why? Because they might like a girl who has dark hair, blonde hair, tall, short. No difference. Women have those preferences too.
Well, I think the objectification thing that's going on today, it's a lot of it, the feminist view, or why it's so everybody's talking about it now, is because I think women are kind of doing it to themselves a little bit by pushing the envelope too much with the sexuality and whatever. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I don't care. Whatever people want to do, they do. But I think there's so much talk about objectification because there is so much more open sexuality out there and all the fakeness and the cosmetic stuff that's going on.
But here's something that's interesting. I was doing some extra work, so I don't just put opinion into this. So I was thinking about, is there a way that if there's a woman listening right now with two middle fingers up at me saying, "Hey, you need to change," objectification is real. And you know what? It is. It absolutely is. But it depends on how you want to take it. Right? Like, everybody objectifies. Every time you grab the microphone or whatever, it's a phallic object. Like, it's not like we don't think that, or somebody hasn't said that before the show. I mean, we've heard that. You can act like I said something weird now. We've talked about that 1,000 times. So, I mean, there's just, things are objects. So let's take it from this standpoint.
I think, though, objectification, though, when it's a degrading way, it comes from a sexist man, usually, that doesn't have a lot of respect for women. And I think it comes from a disrespectful female that is either not attractive, has learned it early in her life that I'm not attractive, so I need to be smart. I mean, not all of us, not everybody is, pretty, which is not, everybody has beautiful things about them. But I think a lot of the objectification, you would say that Cosmopolitan, whatever that book is written by gay men. And
it's a good subject to bring up.
It's written by women, and the material in there is for women. And you're absolutely right. The clothing that's in there is for women. The articles that are written in there about sex, how to please your man. What about, how can, my whole thing is, okay, we want to please the man all the time. Well, why don't we have an article about how can the man please the woman, kind of a thing. So there are other women that are making it sexist, just right along with the gay men. It's a one-sided conversation, how to please your men in bed, how to be more sexually attractive to your husband, how, it always seems like, what can the woman do to make herself more desirable, more attractive to her mate or the other men on the planet? Then we turn around and we say it's objectification.
Right.
So, I don't know.
All right, you said a ton of things. First of all, the low-hanging fruit in Cosmopolitan magazine, things like that, or to do all the things you said. I actually took a bunch of pictures of covers of Cosmo, and all of their articles are just like you said. They're all sex and how to please your guy, how to do this, how to do that. But if you read Men's Health, it's how to please women. So you would have to take the extra step, right? You would have to educate yourself and not just go, oh my God, men are sexist. You would have to read the men's magazine, which in there it says how to dress to impress.
I did.
How to talk.
And there's one little
equal
section, it's about this big, and it says how to be a stud for your woman. It's an article that's like 6 sentences long, and the rest of the magazine is about
in Men's Health,
stuff.
no, they have a lot of stuff on there. It's a lot of how to...
Okay, I'm going to get one and we'll read it together.
I'm a man. I'm telling you, I read men's magazines.
Men's Health is
okay, you're going to tell me how to be a man.
It's one little article. It's not even the whole thing. It's one little clip that the editor
I know, you
goes,
read one page for one
men's section,
thing.
sex, and then it goes how to dress and what perfumes to buy.
GQ is... There's too much out there. Yes, there's a ton of things for men to be a better man.
My God, haven't you ever read Playboy?
Yeah,
I haven't.
Or Playgirl, that's all for women.
But the low-hanging fruit is to say the sexual stuff, because that attracts people. Again, it's like you see the word sex, and that's enough of an object in itself. It's made for women, so women buy it. The higher fruit, which is more difficult for everybody, I'm not making fun of women here, it's men and women, is to say, listen, if you want to be more pleasing in bed, or you want to be pleased better in bed, it's called communication. Listening to your partner. That type of thing.
Well,
but they don't have those articles.
Then we have to say we live in a very superficial, the top of the cake type of a society that we only want the upper, that minimal little layer, because as a society, the only way those things get talked about, and I can tell you this, is in the salon behind the chair, or if I'm training a client and then you start talking to other women and women go, oh, I didn't know that was, nobody told me that was an issue or a problem. As a society, we don't talk about that in magazines. We don't talk about anything like that. Everything is very, unless you go to a counselor.
That's why you have low-hanging fruit. They're base instincts. Sex, violence. That's it. Those are the base instincts. Until you start rising above, you will get to the good stuff. And that's what I'm trying to say. When you just, not you, but when people just have this thought about it's only objectification, it's because you're in it yourself. You're allowing it. Your mind is small. You're not enlightened yet. That's, and the other part I was going to say, okay, you have Cosmo, right? And a lot of women will complain and go, look at the models, look at the articles. First of all, Cosmo is written for women, by women, and all the photographers are gay men. There's nothing about it that has any heterosexual men in Cosmo magazine or any of those other magazines. So it's like a bunch of women getting together with gay men, ripping and destroying heterosexual men. It makes zero sense. I'll give you some of the truth. Here's the truth. This will actually help people if they wanted to. Because a lot of women have this thought that men only like skinny women. That's what causes anorexia. This is what causes eating disorders. A lot of this stuff, you do it because you see something, and then you have a belief, and it's typically a faulty belief or irrational thinking. Because let's look at the facts. 66% of people in America are fat. 33% of people, which is 1/3, are actually obese. Think about that. So most people you see are probably very good people, but they're out of shape. So why this obsession with being skinny when most men don't even prefer skinny women, is what I'm saying. They actually have done plenty of studies where they would show like a diagram, not like an actual girl, but the diagram of just like a stick figure. And they would say, which size do you prefer? Without knowing, most men pick between size 12 and a size 14. That's just factual. So when we put it on it, it's very sad. Because if you're a man on the outside looking and trying to speak to women and saying, listen, relax. Be who you are. There's someone there for you. But first of all, you have to be there for yourself. If you want to hate yourself and who you're not going to get along with people very well, and you're going to be angry at the world. And there's plenty of beautiful women out there.
Heck yeah, I see them
Most
every day.
men do not want to be with the skinniest girl in the room, and I'll tell you why. Because skinny girls don't eat. Guys want to go out. We want to have some fun. You don't want to take a girl out to dinner and she's like,
Guys love me like that.
yeah, can I have the kale, please? Like, we don't...
Yeah, but it's cheaper.
It is cheaper.
I just want saltine crackers, thank you, and water.
Well, that's what I told him. I said after his contest that he's doing, because I think we're both done. I said I want to go out and eat on Saturday nights. I want to go out and have my glass of wine. I want to have a piece of bread with something and be normal, whatever normal is. I mean, not to the point where I get, whatever, but yeah.
Okay, well, because we're here, let's make this personal a little bit. Do you think you're an easier person to live with when you're starving to death?
No.
I'm going to give you that answer. I don't even know who that person is. I actually don't want to know that person.
I hate it. And I know it. I know
But
it about
see,
myself.
you hate me when you diet, which makes really no sense, right? Because it's in here. You're struggling with food. Now, I could be the objectifier. You can call me that. You can call me anything you want. But the fact of the matter is that I want you to be happy. I want you to eat. I hate coming home for dinner and eating a nice meal and you're like, oh, I had 3 little things of rice. I'm going to bed. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm a bodybuilder, and it doesn't make sense. So, and again, just to go back over the percentages,
Well,
if 66% of the American public is overweight and 33% is obese, why are women so much complaining and hating men for only wanting skinny women? That, just factually speaking, that's totally incorrect. Have you ever met a man that said to their woman, I want you to get breast implants?
Yeah.
Have you? Because
Yeah.
I've got a million friends, and I don't think I've had one of them. Honestly, no. I don't know one of them. I think the common thread would be, if it would make my wife happy, and she feels the need, then I'm happy for
Well,
it.
there's
But other than that, they're not going to say, listen, I know we're married, but things are just not working out.
Well,
You
there's
need
this,
more
like,
breast.
there's this good
Nobody
video
says that.
There's a good video that I showed Mom. It's called Mrs. Potato Head by Melanie Martinez, and it's basically an entire video about objectification, basically where women, they are, like, in the video, basically there's this woman, and she's happy with how she is, but she gets with this guy, and he basically makes her get her whole face done, makes her get breast implants, and then she looks trash because she looks so screwed up because the surgery didn't go well. It's based like in the 60s, 50s era, and then she's unhappy, and he ends up going and finding another woman to screw up. And I'm like, that, I really like that video because that is true. But I mean, with the whole sense of like, I think both men can be objectified too, like we said, like they could be objectified as much as women can, because if you think about it, you know, men, they go down the street, they have their shirt off, and you know, women do the same thing. They're like, "Oh, look at you." But why is that okay? Why do men never complain about that, but women, all they do is bitch and complain and say, "Oh my God, why are you staring at me?" Well, sorry, ho, but if you didn't look like one, then maybe we wouldn't stare at you. Like, I look at them all the time, and that's my first impression. Like, if you go outside, and I'm a woman, so if you go outside and you dress like that, you know, and I go outside just like this, I look like a trash bag when I go outside. So, and I still have men catcall me. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what the hell I have to do to make you guys not do it, but it has nothing to do with how I dress. It has to do with they're insecure men, and they just want to be dicks. Like, that's just how it is.
And that's what I was just going to say. I think a lot of it comes down to insecurities in yourself, and depending on how you feel about yourself is what you're going to be attracted to or what you're going to want. You know, I've had women say to me, "I don't want a good-looking man." And I'm like, what? No, I don't want to have to worry about other women. I've had people say it to me about you, some of your clients, and they go, "I could never be with Joe."
Don't give me any names,
No,
please.
I'm not. And I'm like, why? And I go,
that.
why? And they go, because I couldn't handle him talking to other women, seeing women half naked, women, you know, he has pictures sent to his phone, women that pose, that are competitors. They send naked pictures to him all the time.
Did you give him my number?
No, seriously. And these are my friends. These are my girlfriends. And they'll say, "I could never be with him because I would be a mess. I'd be thinking, oh my God, he's looking at her body. He likes her body more." They're jealous. They would be jealous. But those are their insecurities. And I go, well, you know, sometimes I do get a little insecure about it. And it depends on who the person is and how they're treating me. I think that's what it comes down to. If somebody is being a jerk to me, and there's some objectification going on there with him or with this other woman kind of a thing, then I start to feel insecure because I feel threatened, because maybe I feel there's an attraction between you and this lady, or I feel the lady has an attraction and she's being a little bit, it's not just a picture of, this is me dieting down. This is a picture, I want you to see me. Then it becomes a little bit of a thing. But those are the same women that have said to me, "I could never be with a trainer because I couldn't handle all the women."
No, I
that,
can understand
you
that.
know, and I'm like, okay.
But the interesting thing is, and I don't think it's a man-woman thing, I think it's the way I was brought up, right? Like, my mom always told me, never let anybody have more power over me than I have over myself. And I took that over the years to mean a lot of things. And one of them is jealousy. If I'm jealous, that means that there's something wrong with me. Right? It means that either I don't trust the other person, and if I have reason not to, well, then it's my fault that I'm with them. So I'm still going to take the blame. And if I'm jealous, it means I don't like me. You know? And for whatever thing, I have to understand, and this isn't being conceited, I'm telling everybody for this. I'm the best Joe Perroni Jr. in the world. I'm the only one. I need to be proud of that, as are everybody else as individuals. So for me to be jealous of another human being is a sickness inside my own soul. And for me to tell somebody that I'm jealous, it means that I would be looking at you saying, I have a lot of work to do. I thought I was enlightened, but I suck.
I agree with what Ava, no, but I agree with what Ava said. That I think that as a society, if we take everybody and we take them out of a group and we stop stereotyping and say, men are this way, women are this way, you're a dog, you're a slut, you don't know how to talk right, you don't dress right. It comes down to this. It comes down to an individual that says, I have dysfunction. And when I see that, I get insecure because of an experience that I had personally. How can I get better and not let that affect me? And as a society, we don't do that. What we do is we keep perpetuating this feminism thing to say women are being objectified. No, women are consenting to be objectified. Mm-hmm. Whatever you do, you've consented to 90% of that. Now, some of it we talked about before that it's not appropriate, but that's not objectification. That's called disrespect. That's called.
Let me just say something.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. Let me just throw this in, just in case there's somebody who's not.
And
really
there are
sure
disrespectful
where we're going.
people.
Listen, if there's a rape involved, a guy rapes somebody, he needs to be killed. Okay, that's objectification, right? Like, there's a hierarchy. I'm the subject, you're the object. I'm going to dominate. I'm going to do whatever. You need to die. Period. But a lot of this stuff, I was looking up even for like entertainment, like for the Super Bowl, the last say 15 years. And I've got to look because I don't want to. I hate to not be factual. Let me give you a part of a list of the Super Bowl entertainment. From the men, we look at Paul McCartney, the Rolling Stones, Prince, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, The Who. Oh, that's it. How about that? All of them are incredible musicians. That's what they do. They write, they sing, they play. We can all agree with that. Let's take the women. 2004, Janet Jackson. Good entertainer, but has to have her top be pulled off, and they made it like it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. She showed her breasts in front of 100 million people. She objectified herself, period. You're not going to see Mick Jagger show his male parts because he knows how to sing. Not that Janet Jackson doesn't, but he says, I'm a writer and I'm a singer. For 50 years, see me. Janet Jackson goes,
what if she just, okay, but here's the other thing.
I mean, there's
what if she just takes her
that.
boobs out and says, I'm showing my boobs? Why is that objectification?
Well,
I should be
they're
able to take
objects.
my shirt off here, and if I say, I'm cool with sitting here without my shirt on in front of this TV screen, I don't feel objectified. I feel
You know
like
what?
I
Yeah,
consent
no,
to that.
actually-
Maybe she took it off and went, I'm going to make this more exciting.
You know, but actually, it's funny. What you're saying is that in that reality, I actually believe that. No, if she doesn't listen, if Janet Jackson says she does not feel objectified, that's part of her art. I'm in. Except the fact that she did it in front of 100 million people. You know what I mean? There's something wrong about that, right? And there's something the difference between a woman going up there saying, "Don't objectify me," but pulls off her top. Now, I mentioned a bunch of guys. Let's go through some of the women here. Where's Madonna?
Love her.
Do I need? I'm not saying she's not good and she hasn't been around a lot of years. But listen, she takes pictures of herself on her knees with the German Shepherd behind her. She's done a lot of. Listen, there's a lot of objectification there. We can't say that there's not.
But Madonna's not objecting.
True, because she's getting paid and she's a willing participant. But what I'm saying is that a lot of feminists will look at that and say, women are objectified in the media and in entertainment. I would come back and say somebody like Madonna has broken her back for 40 years to be that objectified person. It's not like she went, oh my God, look, I got objectified. She worked really hard to be that object. She loves that spotlight. She's not giving it up. She's like 53. Heck, she's still going to wear no clothes on stage, and she still hasn't learned how to play a guitar yet. So she obviously is not trying to be a full artist. You know, we can like what we like, but I'm just saying. Who else is next? Beyoncé. It's another one. The words in her songs, extremely sexual. She goes up there. She's... I remember making fun of this on the show that we did right after the Super Bowl. She and with like 20 other girls are like dry humping the stage and stuff. Now listen, I'm a man. Okay, sure, I got maybe no problem with that. But on the Monday, the day after the Super Bowl, can we say that we're going to blame men for objectifying women? Listen, that wasn't a one-off. That was a practice maneuver with 20 girls over a period of time to do that in front of a world stage. They objectified themselves. And she continues to do that. Next girl up, Katy Perry. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Missy Elliott wearing no clothes, grabbing her crotch on stage. Listen, besides the fans, if you look at the fan base of Madonna, Beyoncé, Katy Perry, they're not heterosexual men. So that feminists thought that men only want to objectify women, they're not even getting our vote. Because I'm listening to Tom Petty. I'm listening to Bruce Springsteen and The Who and the Rolling Stones. I am not listening to Katy Perry dry hump a stage. That's other girls doing that.
Well, but I also think that the feminist, if you want to say a true feminist, whatever that is, I don't really know what they're fighting for anymore, honestly, because I don't feel that women today, there's nothing we can't do. I mean, you can get any job you want to do. You can wear what you want. You can talk how you want. You can drive the car you want. You can marry who you want, black, white, Chinese, who cares? So I don't understand what they're complaining about. I think people should just be allowed to be. Women are not losing any of our rights. We're not losing anything. But I'm going to argue your point about Madonna. There are many male rap people today that the language in their music is disgusting. It's about oral sex. I hear it every morning in the gym. These guys are up there, grabbing their stuff. Their shirts are up. They're black. They're the ones.
No, you're
and
correct.
I go, oh my God, first of all, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see it. It's okay, but I'm not going to go out there and go, I'm sick of you objectifying women. I'm sick of you, okay? And the thing of it is the feminists, I think, are complaining about nothing. And I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, but it's true. We're not losing anything. Women today have more rights than they fought for us years ago, and we're not losing anything. Women got scared when Trump got in. Not to make this political, I'm going to say it, they got a little riled up because they don't want to lose. We don't want to be in the business force anymore. I'm self-employed. I don't have to put up with that garbage. Men bothering me. I tell them, get out. There's women that are not in that position. They have to pay their bills, pay their rent, take care of their kids. And yes, there are sexist men that are still out there that think it's okay to be inappropriate.
I totally
agree. We don't want to go backwards. We want that.
No, but
that was the whole.
I think because it's the year 2017. Listen, sexists are out there, and like I said,
and women are sexist too.
And they
it's
are, but
men.
I think it's starting to move to where we can almost say, not 100%, but almost say that it's not male or female. It's who's the one making the money, right? It's who holds the power, right? Because if you don't have any power, if you're worried about where you're going to live, if you're worried about going to sleep at night and not being safe, if you're worried about not having enough food, you are going to make some really bad decisions and compromise yourself with people that sometimes you don't want to be with.
But I'm going to end with this. I'm going to say this. Women have a choice. I hear it all day long. I don't make enough money. I need to go out and go to school. Go do something. Get another job if you have to get another job. Don't put yourself in that position. We're in the year 2017. Women should not be having kids without fathers. They should not be getting pregnant. We have birth control. We have all kinds of stuff. When you put yourself in a position of, I got to depend on a man, sorry about it, but you better figure it out. We're more educated today. We have more things at our access today than they had 50 years ago when my mother was having kids. Women have a lot that they access that they can. And when I hear women today still complaining about whatever they complain about, well, do something about it. You're raising a daughter. Do you want your daughter to have that mentality?
No.
I don't want her to think like that.
No, but let me just throw in one more thing. Because, again, sometimes we're talking, I'm trying to hit everybody, right? When we say that you don't want to depend on a man, I totally agree. Everybody should be strong enough within themselves so they don't have to make really bad decisions.
You're whole people. You're two whole people.
Compromise.
You're two whole people coming into the relationship.
Right.
Is my point. It's not you're getting you. Well, anyway,
but let me finish this because this is important. Overall, you might not feel like you need a man, but if you decide that you want to have a kid, just the way human nature works, it's not male versus female, it's just nature. Your child would need a man. And there's a lot of women now, they say about 50% or so are having kids without the thought of, screw that, I make money, I don't need a man. Yes, but your child does. So
I don't agree with that mindset.
That's part of making
You're missing
a
the
decision.
point. The point you're missing is that, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with that. We have to hurry up. I'm saying when I hear women generally complain about what am I going to do, I don't know. Maybe go get another job. Go back to school. Do something so that you feel good about yourself, that you don't latch onto somebody. It could be another female. There's lesbians in the world. There's gay people. It's a point of being codependent and then complaining. We have a lot of stuff available today.
I agree with that. Like I said, I totally agree with that. I just say don't be so independent that you think you're just going to have your own kid and ditch your father.
Right.
kids need
And I've heard that.
relationship.
And I tell women in the salon that, I go, listen, I don't care what you want. Your baby needs a daddy. Sorry. They need the male brain in their life. And I correct them on that when I hear those
and they need
statements.
to see a relationship work.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So with that, we're getting thrown out. So thanks for watching. This is the Rise Above Show. I am Joe Perroni.
Heidi Mancini.
And
Ava.
Who are you?
You can see it. You ever have this happen? This is how confusing it is. This is the practical application of what I'm talking about. Like a guy be out, it's happening to a lot of guys. You be out at a club, bar, right? You're just kicking with your boys, and a girl walks by, and man, she looks good. She looks good. Not good in that classical way. I mean, you know, I'm talking good, like she got half her ass hanging out her skirt. Her titties are all mashed together, popping out the top of her turtleneck and shit. And you with your buddies, right? You with your buddies, you got a couple drinks in you, and you see a girl like this, you might try to talk to her. This might not come out right. I don't know what you say, but damn, look at them titties! Right? The girl gets mad and says, oh, wait a minute. Just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a whore. Which is true. Gentlemen, that is true. Just because they dress a certain way doesn't mean they are a certain way. Don't ever forget it. But ladies, you must understand that that is fucking confusing. Just is. Now that would be like me, Dave Chappelle the comedian, walking around the streets in a cop uniform. Somebody might run up on me. Oh, thank God. Officer, help us. Come on, they're over here. Help us. I'm like, oh, just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a police officer. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, all right, lady, fine. You are not a whore. But you are wearing a whore's uniform, I'll tell you that shit right now.